Hello, I'm Matt from LudoChrono, and today I'm going to give you an overview of Dig Your Way Out. So this is a game in which you are a prison inmate. You want to escape that prison by digging a tunnel. So this is a competitive game for 2 to 6 players, ages 16 and up, and it plays for around 45 minutes. So this is a game in which you play as an inmate. You have your figure, your dashboard, and also a background and some search cards, which are basically items that you can use and spend and trade. So you will move about to gather as many tunnel points as needed, depending on the number of players. Once you reach that threshold, you win the game. So to do so, you will have to use either spoons or shovels or pickaxes to be able to dig your tunnel and your way out. That out of the way, how do we play? Well, we are going to be playing in player turns. To play a turn, it's very simple. You will simply perform 2 actions, move on to the next player, and so on and so forth until the player wins. So what can we do with our actions? It's printed on our dashboards. There is a fair number of actions, but most of them are very contextual and very simple. So I will move through them. The first action I want to talk about is movement. When you move, you can either do a normal move or a cautious move. Let's move on to the normal move. I will roll the die and see where I can move with that die. So I will have to pick the location, which has 5 on it, but I may have the choice. For example, I may go to the showers or the infirmary. I will go to the showers because it's a better choice, in my opinion. If I didn't want to take any risk and any chances, I could simply decide to not roll the die and spend 2 actions, so my entire turn, to move anywhere on the board. So I would choose, but I would lose 1 action in the process. Now there is an action that's limited to once per turn, and it's actually drawing search cards. Depending on what's printed on the room you are in, you will draw a certain number of search cards. In this case, I will draw 3 search cards from the central deck. So these search cards can act as the currency. For example, I have this bag of white powder. It gives me some cigarettes if I sell that. Some will allow me to craft stuff. So how do we do that? Well, there is a fabricate, a craft action that I can perform, and this is printed here. So if I spend this set of items, I will get a shovel. If I spend this set of items, I would get a pickaxe, and if I get this, I discard this set of items, I will draw 2 knives. So these are very important because these allow me to dig my tunnel, and this one allows me to fight other players. So how does fighting work? Well, there is an action which is extort. You can extort stuff from other players. If they are in the same space as me, I can extort them for 1 action. It's also limited to 1 per turn. And I will have to show that I have a weapon from my hand. So I will discard the weapon, and then they have to discard the weapon as well. Otherwise, well, they lose. And if they do, I have to discard 1, and so on and so forth, until a player does not, because they cannot or do not want to discard the weapon. If you lose a battle, you will lose an item, usually, and you take a beating. And a beating means that you are wounded and that you can't craft anymore. If you take another beating, you get 2 beatings, you can't craft anymore and you can't dig anymore. So that's problematic. This is why you may want to go to the infirmary. If you go to the infirmary, you can spend an action to remove beatings, basically. In the cafeteria, I may draw spoons, which are not very efficient, but it's still something that I can dig with. In the recreational area, I may buy or sell items, so I will be able to discard items from my hand and trade them for these items for the printed cost. Also, I may join a gang as an action, so I will have to discard items which aren't shown here. When I join a gang, I will take a card, and for example, I will spend a boot and a ring, and I'm going to join the bikers. I will take a card from the bikers and have a passive ability. So it might help me in the race for tunnel points. This is very nice. Having a gang also allows me to trigger my background better. So every player starts with a background card, and this card is basically a once per game effect. In this case, I would have a 3rd action. But if I am a biker, I have 4 actions. So once per game, I can say, okay, you know what? I'm a backer. I have 4 actions. Very powerful. Some of them allow you to get shanks, explore better, and so on and so forth. Finally, digging. So digging has to be done in the cell block. I have to be not so wounded, so no 2 beatings. And I will have to spend the items from my hand. If I have those, I will spend them. So I will perform actions to simply score them and try and reach the threshold in order to win. If you reach the threshold before the others, you win the game. And that's it. You have the base rules of Dig Your Way Out. So this is a game in which you basically try to interact with the board and with the other players, but you try to outpace them basically by joining a gang and also performing better actions and sometimes extorting them. Now it's your turn to play. Bye bye, see you on Ludo-Chrono.